So, I managed to win a copy of Frankly in Love whilst I was at Yelk, and since this book is coming out on the 12th of September, I thought that it would be helpful for me to give it a read and a review before its release date so that you can see whether it might be something you're interested in picking up. It's by David Yoon. This is his debut novel, but you may recognise his surname because he is Nicola Yoon's husband and she's the author of Everything Everything and The Sun is Also a Star. This is a contemporary book that follows a protagonist named Frank Lee, and Frank is a Korean American. His parents grew up in Korea but moved to the United States and decided to raise their family there. So Frank has an older sister named Hannah, and Frank is in his senior year of high school, meaning he's about to graduate and move on to university. His parents have a very set idea of what his life will and should be like, and they had a similar idea for their daughter Hannah. Hannah did go to Harvard, she qualified with a law degree, and so her parents were incredibly proud of her, but then she brought home her African American boyfriend and her parents basically disowned her because, unfortunately for Frank, his parents are racist and they only want their children to date Koreans. But Frank wants to date Britt. Britt is a white American girl from his AP calculus class who he thinks is funny and pretty and intelligent, but how is he going to date her when he knows his parents will disapprove? Well, he hatches a plan with his Korean friend Joy, who has a Chinese boyfriend that she wants to date. So Frank and Joy fake date each other so that they can real life date Britt and Woo. So this book is a classic fake dating trope, so you can probably guess the direction that the story is going to go. And so I went into this one expecting a very light, fluffy romance novel that would just not be particularly thought-provoking, but I could not be more wrong. There is so much more to this book than just the synopsis that you read on the back. Frank is dealing with racism, not just from his parents and his Korean community, because he doesn't necessarily want to live the life that it's expected of him, and also he doesn't speak Korean and doesn't necessarily know too much about his Korean heritage. In fact, his parents don't even really speak English at the same level as him, so communication with them is difficult because he doesn't fully speak Korean and they don't fully speak English. But alongside that, he has to deal with the inner turmoil of figuring out who he is. Is he Korean? Is he American? Is he both? He's just not sure. Like I said, he doesn't speak Korean, but it's still part of him. And he has grown up in America around Americans of all kinds. But he still doesn't feel 100% American because he doesn't get fully 100% accepted by the entirety of society because, unfortunately, racism is still a thing. And alongside battling all of that, he has to figure out what he wants for his life. He's a teenager. We all go through that when we're at that stage of life where we need to decide, right, I've done the bit that is legally required of me. I've done the part that the law and the country and my parents tell me I have to do. What do I do now? What do I want for my life? And so this book becomes extremely relatable, even if you can't relate exactly to Frank's specific experience. There are so many elements of his experience that you truly can appreciate. And David Yoon masterfully uses emotion to capture all of that. Frank experiences moments of happiness and he experiences moments of sadness and he experiences moments of excitement and of difficulty, and we experience all of those with him. I laughed in places and I teared up in places, and I really don't cry at books. I didn't actually cry at this one, but you know, I felt emotional, and that's really important for me. And ultimately, this book is just very thought-provoking, and I don't want to tell you too much about why because I don't want to get into spoilers. I think it's much more impactful if you experience it for yourself. But if you like books that take light, fluffy, concepts and turn them into a thought-provoking narrative, then this book is very, very much for you. It was a really enjoyable read. My copy is 406 pages, but because it's contemporary, it's very, very easy to read because you don't have any of that, you know, world building or magic systems to get your head around as you would in a 400-page fantasy, for example. This one, it's contemporary, so it's a little bit easier to get through, so don't let the size of it daunt you. I think that it's an incredible book. I think it's a wonderful debut novel. I think that David Yoon did a really great job, and I would highly recommend it. I really enjoyed myself reading it, and I think it's worth picking up. Also, it's another one of those books where I get to explore a culture that is not my own, which I always find fascinating. And even though Frank experienced much difficulty with the Korean element of his culture, he was also discovering things about himself throughout the book, and I was able to learn those things along with him, which I really enjoyed. So if you think that you're likely to pick this one up, or if you have already read it, if you were able to get hold of an ARC and you've already read it, then do let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye!